Thanks for joining me today on Susan's Cozy Kitchen. Today I'm making my son Matthew's famous chili mac. I think you're going to enjoy it as much as my family does. The first thing I want to do is to chop all of my vegetables so that they are ready to go when it's time to cook them. Let me show you a trick that I learned several years ago on the easiest way to cut a bell pepper. It's so simple. Just take your knife and down the side. And when you cut it, you're cutting down the membrane and you're skipping all of the seeds in there. So you're just able to make one nice little cut down each side, 4 cuts, and there's all that stuff that you would have, tried to stick your knife down and go around. There it all is, 4 sides cut off. So quick, simple, easy way to cut the bell peppers. From here, I'll slice them into strips. Try to get them somewhat equal in width, and then just dice them up. While I'm working on the peppers, I have my pot of water back here getting hot to boil the macaroni. I have 2 cups of dry elbow macaroni ready to go into the salted water as soon as it starts boiling, and I'll boil that for about 11 minutes. Okay, the water has started boiling, so I'm going to add the macaroni to it, stir it, and let it cook. Okay, my timer's set, so let's let that cook while we finish slicing and dicing. Okay, now I have a small bunch of green onions. I'm going to cut off the root ends, throw those away, and then I'm going to cut these and have these ready to go in at the very end. The recipe says to put in about 3/4 of the onions to stir in and then keep the remainder to garnish, but we actually make a double recipe of this because we love it so much, so we just stir all of the onions in there and we just skip worrying about the garnish. Oh wow, those onions are really getting to me. Now it's time to pull out the hot plate and start cooking the meat. So I buy lean ground beef, but to keep it from sticking, when you have a stainless steel pan, you have to add a little fat into it. So if you have a non-stick pan, you don't really have to worry about this. If you've got stainless steel or if you're using cast iron, you may want to put a little bit of oil in there. I have a 1.5 pounds of ground beef. My skillet's hot, so you hear that nice sizzle. Let's get the beef going. Going to use a wooden spoon, break up the beef, and let it get nice and brown. Now normally when I'm cooking beef, making something like this, I season the meat and let all those flavors cook in. That's not how my son does it, and I'm making his recipe. So I'm going to do it his way today, which is to season this later. I'm going to leave it alone and let it cook. So it's gotten nice and brown on one side. I'm just going to break it up a little bit more and let it cook on the other side. You want to get all the pink gone. You want it nice and browned, cooked all the way through. Maybe not well done, but definitely done. Okay, the noodles have finished cooking. I've drained them and I have them ready and waiting. The beef has finished cooking, so I'm just going to spoon this into this bowl. I'm tilting my pan toward me and then scooping the meat over into the bowl so that I am letting all of the fat straining down into this end, and then the meat is up here so that I can actually get it out of all that fat and have it a little leaner in our dish later. The fat that cooked out of the meat is still in the frying pan, and I'm going to use that to cook the vegetables. First, we're going to start with 1 onion, and I will cook this until it's almost translucent. Because I don't like to stand here cooking all day long, I have this on a fairly high heat so that these onions and then the peppers will all cook fairly quickly and I can move on to other things. Okay, the onions are almost translucent, so now I'm going to add the 2 green bell peppers that I diced, and I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to continue cooking at a high heat until the bell pepper is tender. Okay, these are getting nice and tender. They're getting some good color on them. So now it's time to add the garlic. I have 4 cloves of minced garlic. And yes, I took the shortcut and used the jarred garlic. Let this cook for a minute or 2. Okay, now that that's cooked for a couple of minutes, it's time to add the beef back in. Stir this together, and now I'm going to season this. This is 2 tablespoons of chili powder, a teaspoon of cumin, a teaspoon of salt, and a ½ teaspoon of ground black pepper. Just mix that all in together. Chili powder. 2 14.5 ounce cans of diced tomatoes, and I like to use the fire roasted tomatoes. There's 1 can. And before I open these, I always wash and dry the lids. And mix all of this together. And this makes your chili. I like to let this cook for just a few minutes. Okay, so here's the macaroni. I'm just going to give it a quick little stir, let everything get separated again. All right, now time to put the chili in the macaroni. And I'm making a mess. It's going everywhere. All right. And now I'm just going to stir everything together. I just want everything mixed. I'm going to let this sit here, cook together for just a minute or 2, and then it'll be time to give it a taste test. Just to give you an idea of how quick and easy this meal is, from start to finish. And when I say from start, I mean from the time I turned my camera on and started recording until now. I haven't turned it off. It's only been 45 minutes. And in that time, I had to set up a few things, move a few things around. So there were times in there that I wasn't actively cooking. So I would say I have actively been working on this meal for probably 35 of those 45 minutes. So this is quick, it's simple, it's delicious, and I think your family will love it. Time for the taste test. I like to have my chili mac with a little bit of cheddar cheese grated over it. The rest of the family is happy with it just like this, so let's take a taste. This is a perfect comfort meal. It's got your macaroni, it has the meat, it has the chili flavoring to it. It's perfect on a cold day. I'm glad I made this a couple of hours early so that the flavors can just continue to blend and meld while we're waiting for everyone to get home for dinner tonight. It's a winner. What can I say? Winner, winner. Chili mac for dinner. I said, I love it with a little bit of cheese on top, so you get that macaroni and cheese with the chili, but it is fantastic without it. I think I'm just part rat because I love cheese so much. As always, the recipe is in the description box below. Please check it out. If you enjoyed today's video, please be sure and give me a big thumbs up. If you haven't already, please subscribe and make sure to hit the bell so that you are notified every time I upload a video to YouTube. Thanks for watching. God bless.